Welcome to another edition of This Day in History on The Stack. Today we'll be covering 6 different events that occurred on July 16th. On July 16, 1970, the Provisional Constitution for Iraq went into effect. This version of the Constitution followed its earlier predecessors that were issued after the abolition of the monarchy. The only difference, in comparison to its earlier versions, were how long these constitutions actually lasted, which only ended up being for 33 years until the fall of Iraq's political regime on April 9, 2003, after U.S. forces entered the country. On July 16, 1999, John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, and her sister Lauren Bessette passed away when the manned aircraft piloted by Kennedy himself crashed into the Atlantic Ocean near Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. Leading to the crash, radar data had later realized the aircraft's plummet from around 2,200 feet to 1,400 feet within just 14 seconds until it eventually disappeared from the radar screen and lost signal. In result, an intense rescue operation was launched by the Coast Guard, which lasted for about 2 days, until they had given up hope. On July 21st, Kennedy and the Bessette's bodies were recovered by Navy divers near the wreckage of the plane, which was lying under 116 feet of water, about 8 miles past their original destination.
The planet Pluto, discovered in 1930 and periodically removed and added back to planet status by scientists, is the most distant planet before the solar system's Kuiper belt. The New Horizons probe, launched in 2006, is the only NASA probe to fly by Pluto. On July 14, 2015, the probe recorded data and photos and reached the closest point to Pluto and its 5 moons before moving on. On July 16th, scientists started receiving the data transmission, which took another 15 months to download. On July 16, 1990, the Empire State Building caught fire. 38 were injured with no fatalities. The building has fire safety measures, such as compartmentalized levels so that fire cannot spread easily between floors. The 4 floors on fire billowed smoke. Several glass doors exploded, injuring firefighters. People evacuated using the fire tower or T-stairway, but open ventilation and lack of automated loudspeaker announcements caused some delays.
On July 16, 1969, the world awaited as the Apollo 11 lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center. At 9:32 a.m. in Cape Canaveral, Florida, the ground shook as 7.6 million pounds of thrust ignited under the powerful Saturn V rocket, sending astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins on their 240,000 miles journey to the moon. Their mission was impossible until those moments: land humans on the moon and bring them home safely. 4 days later, they would make history. But on July 16, 1969, is when they reached for the moon. On July 16, 1945, at 5:29 a.m., Los Alamos scientists in New Mexico detonated the Gadget, the world's first atomic bomb. The blast was 21 kilotons, resulting in a blinding flash for 160 miles and a 38,000-foot mushroom cloud. The Trinity test proved that the plutonium implosion design was viable. Due to this success, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima August 6 and Nagasaki August 9, causing Japan to surrender August 14, 1945.
Thank you so much for tuning into another edition of This Day in History on The Stack. We'll see you next time.